Alright, so as promised during our video session, I'm going to go ahead and read and post the first book / chapter. So I will post this recording, the recording of our video session, and chapter / book 1 reading comprehension. Okay? Awesome. So book 1 is called Athena Inspires the Prince. Sing to me of the man, Muse, the man of twists and turns, driven time and again off course. Once he had plundered the hallowed heights of Troy. Many cities of men he saw and learned their minds. Many pains he suffered, heartsick on the open sea, fighting to save his life and bring his comrades home. But he could not save them from disaster, hard as he strove. The recklessness of their own ways destroyed them all. The blind fools, they devoured the cattle of the sun, and the sun god wiped from sight the day of their return. Launch out on his story, Muse, daughter of Zeus. Start from where you will. Sing for our time too. Sorry, my Alexa was playing. Okay. By now, all the survivors, all who avoided headlong death, were safe at home, escaped the wars and waves. But one man alone, his heart set on his wife and his return, Calypso, the bewitching nymph, the lustrous goddess, held him back, deep in her arching caverns, craving him for a husband. But then, when the wheeling seasons brought the year around, that year spun out by the gods, where he should reach his home, Ithaca. Though not even there would he be free of trials, even among his loved ones. Then every god took pity, all except Poseidon. He raged on, seething against the great Odysseus till he reached his native land. So Athena went to Zeus as he sat at home in the Olympians' hall, meeting with the other gods. And the sparkling-eyed Athena drove the matter home. Father, son of Cronus, our high and mighty king, surely he goes down to a death he earned in full. Let them all die so, all who do such things. But my heart breaks for Odysseus, that seasoned veteran, cursed by fate so long. Far from his loved ones still, he suffers torments of on a wave-washed island rising at the center of the seas, a dark wooded island, and there a goddess makes her home, a daughter of Atlas, wicked Titan, who sounds the deep in all its depths, whose shoulders life on high the colossal pillars, thrusting earth and sky apart. Atlas's daughter it is who holds Odysseus captive. Luckless man, despite his tears, forever trying to spellbind his heart with suave, seductive words, and wipe all thought of Ithaca from his mind. But he, straining for no more than a glimpse of hearth smoke drifting from his own land, Odysseus longs to die. My child, Zeus, who marshals the thunderhead, replied, what nonsense you let slip through your teeth. Now, how on earth could I forget Odysseus? Come, all of us here put heads together now, work out his journey so Odysseus can return home. Lord Poseidon, I trust, will let his anger go. Athena, her eyes flashing bright, exalted. Father, son of Cronus, our high and mighty king, if now it really pleases the blissful gods, that wise Odysseus shall return, home at last, let us dispatch the guide and giant killer Hermes down to Aegea Island, down to announce at once to the nymph with lovely braids our fixed decree. Odysseus journeys home, the exile must return. While I go down to Ithaca, rouse his son to a braver pitch, inspire his heart with courage, to summon the flowing-haired Achaeans to full assembly, speak his mind to all those suitors, slaughtering on and on his droves of sheep and shambling longhorn cattle. Next I will send him off to Sparta and sandy Pylos, there to learn of his dear father's journey home. Perhaps he will hear some news and make his name throughout the mortal world. So Athena vowed, and under her feet she fastened the supple sandals, ever-glowing gold, that wing her over the waves and boundless earth with the rush of gusting winds. She seized the rugged spear tipped with bronze point, weighted heavy, the massive shaft she wields to break the lines of heroes the mighty father's daughter storms against. and down she swept from Olympus's craggy peaks and lit on Ithaca, standing tall at Odysseus's gates, the threshold of his court. Gripping her bronze spear, she looked for all of the world like a stranger now, like Mentis, lord of the Taphians. There she found the swaggering suitors, just then amusing themselves with rolling dice before the doors. Lounging on hides of oxen they had killed themselves, while heralds and brisk attendants bustled round them, some at the mixing bowls, mulling wine and water, others wiping the tables down with sapping sponges, setting them out in place. Still other servants jointed and carved the great sides of meat. First by far to see her was Prince Telemachus. I had to pronounce it in my head. Sitting among the suitors, heart obsessed with grief. He could almost see his magnificent father here, in the mind's eye. If only he might drop from the clouds and drive these suitors all in a rout throughout the halls, and regain his pride of place and rule his own domains. But now it's no use. He's died a wretched death. No comforts left for us. The day of his return will never dawn. Daydreaming so as he sat among his suitors, he glimpsed Athena now, and straight to the porch he went, mortified that a guest might still be standing at the doors. Pausing beside her there, he clasped her right hand, and relieving her at once of her long bronze spear, met her with winged words. "Greetings, stranger. Here in our house you'll find a royal welcome. Have supper first, then tell us what you need." He led the way to Palace. Athena followed. He escorted her to a high elaborate chair of honor, and here he placed his guest with a stool to rest her feet. But for himself, he drew up a low and reclining chair beside her. Telemachus, head close to Athena's sparkling eyes, spoke low to his guest so no one else could hear. "Dear stranger, look at them over there. Not a care in the world. They feed on another's goods and go scot-free. But that man, if they'd caught sight of him home in Ithaca, by God, they'd pray to be faster on their feet than riches and bars of gold and heavy robes. But now, no use. He's died a wretched death. The day of his return will never dawn." Her eyes glinting, Goddess Athena answered, "My own name is Mentis, and here I've come just now with ship and crew. Our ship lies moored off farmlands far from town. As for the ties between your father and myself, we've been friends forever, I'm proud to say. And now I've come. And why? I heard that he was back. Your father, that is. I tell you, great Odysseus is not dead. Somewhere in this wide world, held captive out at sea on a wave-washed island, and hard men, savages, somehow hold him back against his will. He won't be gone from the native lands he loves, not even if iron shackles bind your father down. He's plodding away to journey home at last, but he's never at a loss. But you, I urge you, think how to drive these suitors from your halls. At daybreak summon the island's lords to full assembly, tell the suitors to scatter, each to his own place. Fit out a ship with 20 oars, and the best in sight. Sail in quest of news of your long-lost father. First go down to Pylos, question old King Nestor, then cross over to Sparta, to red-haired Menelaus. If you hear your father's alive and heading home, hard-pressed as you are, brave out one more year. Reach down deep in your heart and soul for a way to kill these suitors in your house, by stealth or open combat." "O stranger," heedful Telemachus replied, "indeed I will. You've counseled me with so much kindness, like a father to a son. I won't forget a word." Off and away Athena, the bright-eyed goddess, flew, like a bird soaring in flight, but left his spirit filled with nerve and courage, charged with his father's memory more now than ever before. He felt overwhelmed with wonder. This was a god, he knew it well. And now from high above her in her room, Icarus's daughter Penelope, down the deep stair from her chamber descended, that radiant woman. Once she reached the suitors, drawing her glistening veil across her cheeks, dissolved into tears. "How I long for my husband." Telemachus put in sharply, "Mother, go back to your quarters, tend to your own tasks, the distaff and the loom. I hold the reins of power in this house." Astonished, she withdrew to her room. Climbing up to the lofty chamber, she fell weeping for beloved Odysseus, until watchful Athena sealed her eyes with welcome sleep. Okay, so that is book 1. We will continue next week with book 2. Okay, bye guys!